Tonight we're going to be making sockeye salmon.
Okay, let's get started with our ingredients for this recipe. We have a fresh wild sockeye salmon fillet here. This is slightly over 1 pound. And we're going to be seasoning it with some dry herbs. So let's start with those. We have tarragon, we have some thyme leaves, parsley, and of course we're going to have some salt, and I like using Old Bay seasoning. So for this recipe we're going to be using this cast iron skillet, which I just seasoned with this vegetable oil. Also going to use olive oil for the fish itself. We're going to need some butter for the skillet, and I have some garlic I'm going to put in the pan as we cook it, some fresh rosemary, and some lemon to squeeze some lemon juice. Cool, let's get started. Okay, so for me the first step is I rinse the fish down just to clean it, and then I just take a paper towel and just dab it dry. So once I've done that, I want to flip it over. So when I cook it in the skillet, I'm going to do the skin side down first. And so what I need to do now is I need to add some seasoning. So I'm going to go with the Old Bay. And I'm going to do some salt. And actually, as I cook it in the skillet, obviously I gotta flip it. So I'm gonna season it more in the skillet, and I'm gonna do the dry herbs once I get the fish in the pan. Do a baby bit of olive oil. I'll just rub that around right here on the cutting board. I think I picked up a few loose pieces of garlic I just chopped up. So yeah, I chopped the garlic up. That was a step I did off camera. So I have the garlic and rosemary to the side. I'm going to add it in to the skillet with the butter. So right now I just want to add a little bit of olive oil, some salt, and the Old Bay. I'm going to get the skillet going in a minute. I'll show you that, and we'll go from there. Okay, I got my fish ready to go into the skillet. What I did was add a little bit more vegetable oil, and now I'm going to add a bunch of butter. And I'm just going to let that melt down for a minute. Move around the pan. So this is a large piece of fish, so I mean it's the whole fillet, so I want a decent amount of butter. So I'm gonna get that in the pan, and what I'm gonna do too is I'm gonna add once the butter melts in, I'm gonna add the garlic and the fresh rosemary. And as soon as those get in, I'm gonna get into the pan. I'm gonna add the fish. So I'm gonna let that melt down. I'll check back in with you in about a minute when I get the rosemary in there and I add the fish to the pan. Okay, so the butter's melting down. I'm going to add the garlic and the rosemary. It's cooking in now. Let's move it around a little bit, get the flavors in. We'll let it be in there for, I don't know, maybe about 30 seconds to a minute. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to put the fillet skin side down. So I'm going to do that now. I already put the salt on it, as you saw earlier. I'm just going to put that right in the pan. This is a big piece of fish, and it's a new skillet. My wife just got me this for Father's Day. It's a larger one. All right, cool. So now that we've done that, now it's time to add the dry herbs. So we got thyme, and of course we're going to flip this back over to the other side. So we got dry thyme, and you could of course use fresh herbs. That's probably actually preferable. I just didn't have them all on hand tonight, so I just went with the fresh rosemary, which I already had. This is tarragon. I don't use this often, but I really do like this herb, and I think it goes good with the sockeye. Okay, let's see. Get some parsley. And I'll top it off with some Old Bay on this side. And of course a little bit more salt on this side. So, okay. So depending on the size of your fish, you're going to want at least a couple of minutes on each side. This is a whole fillet, so it's going to be several minutes on each side. I'll check back in a few when I flip it over. But yeah, at this point it's pretty simple from here. You want your heat at about medium level. It's going to be at least a few minutes on each side. And what I'll do is I'll get a spoon and I'm going to scoop up some of the butter, garlic sauce, and just dunk it over the top of the fish as I cook this. So I'll check back in a few minutes when I flip this over. Okay, after about 5 minutes I flipped it over, and it's almost done now, so I'll check back in a few when the fish is ready to eat. Alright, this is our final dish, wild sockeye salmon. It came out actually really good. It was my first time making it in a skillet, so it was a bit of an experiment for me, but I just tested it and it tastes really good, so I hope you guys like it. If you like this video, please like and subscribe.